1.3 drivers. Get away here, trying to open the gap early on between him and Paul. They qualify 2/10 away from each other. And the battle for the 3 spot. James getting around Frank through the chicane. James in the blue and silver, Frank in the all pink, battling it out there. Oh, Frank now getting around James. James not happy about that, takes it right back. Straight away that there goes our lead pack though, out front. Ryan going through the chicane in that all silver, Paul in the white and pink. Down the straightaway, the lead pair goes. 15 flat for both drivers that time by. But Paul not allowing Brian any sort of breathing room here early on. 1 minute down, 4 minutes to go. All seems to be a little bit smoother on the wheel. But Brian is able to maintain that lead and keep a nice tight line. And both of the pairs are battling it out. Paul looking low, door closing fast. Oh, watch it going into the infield. Track is clear. James and Frank battling it out. James in the blue and the silver. Oh, they're Frank in the all pink. Down the straightaway that pack goes. Last time by 10 separation, now 3/10. That is the closer battle. However, it looks to be pretty close up front as 4/10 of a second. Paul 14.8 to Brian's 15 flat.
Three minutes left.
2 down, 3 to go. 3 long minutes of racing as our lead pair coming up onto traffic here. Track's doing well to get out of the way. Does allow Brian a little bit of breathing room. Brian turning 14.8, followed by 14.8. The fast lap, however, Paul also has a 14.8. Both cars looking pretty evenly matched. As Paul looks to be closing in. Down the straightaway they go. Paul, nice tight line to the chicane. Cross the line here, separation 4/10 of a second. There's a 15.6 to a 14.9. Down the straightaway they go. Traffic is moving out of the way. Thank you very much. Our lead pair now battling it out with clean air in front of them. Nice tight line through the chicane. Down the straightaway. Looks like Paul has just a hair more motor, but Brian's able to cover the line off very well. Oh no, our lead pair getting crossed up. Brian's going wide, allowing Paul to slide by. Paul going wide, allowing Brian to slide right by. Those pair battling it out here with 1 minute 35 seconds remaining. Brian in the all silver, Paul closely behind. Now Paul to the point. Brian is just 1.6 back. Anything can happen. There's still 1 minute 15 remaining on the master clock.
One minute left.
You heard it, 1 minute remaining. Our leader, Paul, down the straightaway he goes. That white and pink crossing the line, that time by 15.1. Brian with a 15.8. 2.6 is the gap. Will there be enough time for Brian to close that gap between him and Paul? 15.1 to a 15.3. Paul falling into a groove here. Trying to stretch his leg. Down the straightaway he goes. 15.2, nice and consistent for Paul as time winds down. Paul has about a straightaway and a super lead over Brian right now. At his time, racing
James
to the
Brent
line as he dives across the line. James, we caught you at the line. Everybody else again as you cross the line. Paul gonna come
Paul
around,
Carson.
take A1 for the LMP.
Ryan Fall done. All drivers are finished.
Ryan in the 2,
Frank
Frank
Hernandez
in the
done.
3.
Marshall's ready, driver ready. Have fun, guys. This is race number 12, 12th LMP, A2 main. Here we go. Off and running. Qualifying work as they head down the back. Long at the loop. Long match coming off the grid. 1 second is gone by. Make the pass on Frank Hernandez. The third. James running the blue and white. Frank in the 2. At the loop, they're leading Paul. 14-8. 15-1 for Paul. 15-2 for James. 15-9 for Frank. Ryan Paul, he has been solid and on the money all day in this class. Into the sweeper he goes in the all silver. 45 seconds gone by. 14-7. 15-0 for Paul. Ready by 1.5 seconds early. James Grant back by 1.4. 15-1. 15-2 for Frank. 0.8 of a second behind James. 1 minute gone by.
4 minutes left.
Leader at the loop on 14-9. 14-8 for Paul. Faster that time. That's Paul's best lap. Yeah, 1.3 seconds. Minute 20 gone by, 3:40 to go. 14-8 for Pine, 14-7 for Paul. Paul has turned tables here. Great laps, he's turned slightly faster. He's starting to catch up. Gap 1.2. A minute and a half in, 3.5 remaining. Here's Brian, Paul, James, Frank. James 3 seconds behind second place driver. 14-9 for Brian, 14-7 for Paul. 1 even second as Paul continues to catch up to the leader. They go down the back.
Oh, yeah.
3:15 remaining. 14-8 for Brian, 14-8 for Paul. Again, slightly faster.
Cool. I knew I'd get it back eventually. I can double them up.
Two minutes into this one.
Okay. 3 minutes left.
On deck, 30 minutes and 1-8 open. Ryan Paul 14-9, Paul 15-0. Finally, a lap. Your leader is back.
Dry rod, but yeah. Oh, God. That's right, they pick it up to this one part.
Frank Hernandez in the all pink. 14-8 for Ryan, 14-9 for Paul. He now pushing the stop for the leading. Frank second place in the white pink. Not Paul second place in the white. At the loop, your leader, halfway point.
Transponder 9861727.
7-1 is best for Paul. The gap between 1 and 2 is 1.26 seconds. We've got 2:45 down, 2:15 to go. Leader on 15-0. All matches on 15-0 is over. Slightly faster. Not enough to notice. 3 minutes gone.
2 minutes left.
14-9 for Fawn. 14-8 for Paris.
La fila.
Both of their cars working really well. James Frank sitting in third. 8 seconds into third. 9 seconds more to Frank. Wow. Ryan Fawn 15-1. Paul Paris 14-5. The gap is half with a single lap that is the hot lap of the race. 14-5-6. 14-7 for Paul. 14-8 for Paul. The gap is 0.7. Look at that. 3:40 down, 1:20 to go. Brian's got to pull one of those out again. 14-8 for Brian, 14-9 for Paul. He needs to pull one of those out again. We're coming up on the final minute of this one. It's Brian, Paul, James, Frank. 20s for your
1 minute
lead pair,
left.
19 for James and Frank. Brian 15-0, Paul 15-0. The gap is a 888. All may need help from Brian. 45 seconds remaining. 14-8 for Brian and Paul. They are certainly close enough to see each other as they head on to the back here for lap number 18. They got this quick in 2 more laps and 30 seconds to go. 14-9 for Brian, 14-7 for Paul. 6 tenths of a second between the two cars. Ooh, it's going to come down to it. 15 seconds to go. 14-9, 14-8. The gap is half a second. This is the last lap. Oh, he's going to need some help. Time expiring, and Brian Paul takes the win in 8-2. That puts 2 first-place finishes. No, you won the first one? Oh, I didn't know that.
All drivers are finished. Frank Hernandez done.
Brian Paul.
Race number 20, 12th LMP A3 main. Draw live at the horn. Here we go. Off and running. Long. A strong start early. Paul clips a barrier, gives him a little extra time. Long laps off the grid. Qualifying order: Brian, Paul, Frank, James. Your leader runs all silver. He hits the back straight. Second place, pink and white. Might be silver and white. Third place, all pink. Fourth place, blue and white. It is Brian Fong, Paul Paris, Frank Hernandez, and James Brandt. Paul has a hot lap at a 15.0. He trails Brian by 3/4 of a second here. They hit the loop. 15-1 for Brian, 15-1 for Paul. Gap is 8 tenths. Brian flirting with that candy cane right up front. Paul seems to be driving a pretty safe race, but he's caught up a little bit here.
4 minutes left.
Into the sweeper they go. 1 minute gone by. 4 minutes remain. Paul new hot lap, 15.04. Brian on a 15.2. The gap just under 6 tenths of a second. Those two hit the chicane. Paul still closing. Hard close there at the end of the chicane, but Brian had a much better take on the back straight. They are now gapped by less than 1/4 of a second. 14.94 by Paul Paris. The hot lap of the day. We'll look for clean passes here. Down the back. Brian a better run onto the back. Gives him a little advantage. 1.5 gone, 3.5 remaining. There's a 14.9 for Brian. 15.0 for Paul. The gap 0.34. Paul looked inside but couldn't get it. Then he looks inside, gives him the door. Takes first place away. Into the sweeper, it's going to be Paul, then Brian with 1:45 down, 3:15 to go. Frank running in third, 4.5 seconds into third. 1 second to James Brandt, now 3/4 of a second. We got a pair of nice races going on.
3 minutes left.
Brian Fong chasing leader Paul Paris down the back. All feeling pretty good right now. 15.3 for both cars. Brian looked at it. This is tight racing in a lead pair. Frank has a little advantage right now over James in the back, about 7 tenths of a second. The loop go your leaders. Paul 15.2, also Brian 15.2. The gap is 0.22 seconds. We've at the halfway point, 2.5 down, 2.5 to go. Brian has an inside line, gives some door back to him, and Brian takes the pass at the loop. Brian Fong in the lead here. James Brandt briefly into a pipe, quickly fixed up. Paris now in chase mode with 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. No time between these two cars as they hit the back with Brian Fong in silver, leading away, heading to the loop. 14.89, new hot lap of the race for Brian Fong. Paul on a 15.1. Now Paul closing again. He's got eyes on spaces.
2 minutes left.
Onto the back, Brian holding out. 2 minutes remain to the loop. Fong on a 15.4, 15.5 for Paul. 4 tenths of a second between TBF and Paul Paris. Brian now all of a sudden with a little gap, and Paul clips a barrier. Brian with the biggest gap we've seen in a long time. 1 minute 40 seconds to go. James on his best lap of 15.3. Frank's best of 15.4 in this one. It is Brian, Paul, Frank, James. Paul looking to close back in and keep this pressure on with 1 minute 30 to go. James turning a couple of his best laps of the race. There's a 15-4. Paul Paris trails Brian Fong by 9/10 of a second. One minute, 10 seconds remaining. Leaders to the loop. 15-2 for Brian, 14-9 for Paul. 0.66 between 1 and 2. Paul really pushing there. Oh, and he ends up
1 minute left.
here. That's Brian Fong's race right there. 1 minute to go. Paul Paris will be back by 5 seconds here. 15-1 for Fong. 4.8 seconds to gap to Paul Paris in second. 11 seconds more to Frank in third. James back by 2 seconds. James maybe making a run at third here. And I think that would be the difference for the third place trophy. Frank and James are probably running for the third place trophy right now. Looks like James may have had some problems though. Brian Fong holding that 4.8 second advantage over Paul Paris. Laughing all the way to the end. 15 seconds to go. Through the loop. Brian Fong. Frank Hernandez now sitting 3 seconds ahead. Now 2.6 seconds ahead of James Grant. Everybody on their last lap here. As time expires, Paul with his best lap of the race. It is just not enough to overcome that big wreck at the top
Brian
of the
Fong done.
crosstown.
Frank Hernandez
Brian
done.
Fong takes
James
home the
Grant done.
win.
All
Frank
drivers
Hernandez
are
done in
finished.
third, James Grant
Paul
fourth.
Paris
Paul
done.
Paris done in second. It goes Brian, Paul, Frank, James. Final positions for the class over the weekend. Brian Fong with the win to go with his TQ. Paul Paris finishes second in the class, and Frank Hernandez takes home third.